Noreen here, taking a look at an article in today's Parental Alienation Daily. This is where I have curated articles all over the internet. They're put together daily and sent out. If you'd like to have it sent directly to your email or email inbox, you can put that right here and put your information right here into the subscription. We're going to take a look at this article on the left. Coping with parental alienation, consider these tips. And while we know that personality disorders are part of it, we want to stick away from those words, especially when you are dealing with an alienator, because by using that word, whether they're diagnosed or not diagnosed, it causes more friction and more problems and more injury to them. And that injury actually will absolutely backfire. So we're just going to say, coping with parental alienation, consider these tips. And this is an article by Sherry Steins, Dr. Steins, and the website Good Therapy. Okay. Little research on parental alienation exists, and actually it is, there's little because it's a new and emerging field. At this point in time, there's only around 300 research articles, but again, it's a newer science. It mirrors domestic violence. All right. Okay. So many who have experienced this parental alienation are desperate to find help. This article was written to address the issue from a psychological perspective in an effort to provide those coping with the situation with some tips and strategies. However, it's also possible to seek legal assistance. And those who have been in this journey, when you've actually sought the legal assistance, we think the court is full of justice, and very often we're going to find it will exasperate the situation. However, there are some really good strategies to share with your lawyer, and I urge you to check in, do a Google search on Linda Gottlieb. Also, she did a great presentation on at the September 2019 PASG conference, and that is posted on the PASG web YouTube channel, and that is the Parental Alienation Study Group. So what is PA? PA refers to the psychological manipulation of a child by an alienating parent. Again, this is someone with personality disorder. The manipulation typically results in the child's rejection, disdain, and lack of empathy toward the other, labeled the target parent. While parental alienation may occur even when narcissism is not a factor, for the purposes of this article, I will discuss parental alienation that has been instigated by a narcissistic parent. And I will be honest with that statement. Narcissism are a set of personality traits, and they all exist on a continuum, and we all have them. It is a very complicated topic to talk about if you are not a doctor who is thoroughly trained and educated in this genre. But what I can tell you is this: we all have those traits. They exist on a continuum. It is when those traits become destructive to other people that raises the huge red flag. So if you have questions about that, please post them below. Now, if you're the target parent of the syndrome, or if you're trying to help someone who is a target parent, then here are some strategies that may help. All right. You may have to engage even if you have a tendency to avoid conflict. Some of the alienated parents I've worked with have called this a battle, and really it's more like a war. Even when you don't want to fight with your co-parent, their behavior may force you to take action to maintain custody or visitation of your children. You try to collaborate. You might suggest finding a therapist together. And I'm going to tell you right now, when someone is doing this, you don't want to go to therapy with the personality disordered parent, the narcissist. There I go using the word. That actually, when you go into couples therapy with someone on the personality disorder spectrum going to a dangerous level, they actually use that therapy to get more information to strategize against you. If there's going to be therapy, it needs to be with your child if you're the target parent, and not putting the child in therapy by themselves, but the child and the target together. Let's see, and even trying bringing them into the relationship or family counseling. Okay. And also I want to put here about this whole collaboration. When you're dealing with someone that is personality disordered, collaboration is not anywhere in their game plan. It is about, there's got to be a winner and a loser, and they will go to the death to win. So while a lot of what they do evokes deep emotions and strong emotions, it is so important for target parents to put a pin in those emotions, think logically, think strategically. Okay, so I think it's right here. The personality disordered person does not believe that they've done anything wrong or that they have any desire to change. You are unlikely to get very far. If they have an inability to reflect on their actions, their words, and the consequences from that. It helps to understand you do not have a typical situation on your hands. The person with the high conflict personality may have already managed to manipulate or damage your sense of self in many ways. You might feel as if they've dashed your dreams for love and crushed your heart. What do you do now that they seem bound and determined to take away the children you value more than anything else? They do this because they're trying to punish you. It's not a simple task to co-parent with a hostile adversary, pardon me, and it can be even more difficult when you want to keep what you're feeling from spilling over to affect your children. You will have to figure out how to parent your children in spite of the feelings you have for the other parent and the feelings and behaviors that they are demonstrating towards you. A good place to begin is to figure out how to make peace with reality. Being grounded in your reality and in your situation, folks, that is a key factor in building your resilience. It is generally unhelpful to ruminate over the unfairness, your feelings of hatred, hurt, the fact that feelings have become very difficult, and the triggers. When it comes to trigger management, check over on the bookshelf on voicesoftheerased.com. Dr. Pete Walker has the best book on that. I also suggest checking out my video on grounding. That is a good practice, especially when you close your eyes and if you're meditating. Many people, when they close their eyes, it actually makes it worse. So check out the grounding. Okay, you will likely have these negative thoughts, emotions, and feelings, but you may be able to better process them by talking them over with friends and family or your counselor, and keep track of everything in a journal. And just so you know, as you're on the journey of co-parenting with a toxic ex, you have to document everything, screenshot information, keep detailed records for use, maybe immediately, but definitely for the long game. All right, next, create a plan and develop your resources. Dealing with parental alienation is not easy. It can be exceedingly painful when your child resists your attempts to connect, or they view you as the bad parent, which is where this leads to. In your hurt or out of a wish to do what's best for your children, you might wonder if it's better to give up the fight. But this could mean giving up your custody, your right to parent your own children, or even see them as much as you like. Battles cannot be fought alone. You will need many resources to navigate the difficult terrain that lies ahead. Some potential resources include allies, such as legal experts. You need strong boundaries, self-care strategies, a good therapist, strategies on parenting, but not just parenting, but parenting with someone who is toxic. And it's that inner strength and, of course, your spirituality. If a person is manipulating you and the children, it reaches a point where you feel as if you're unable to trust in your own reality. See, gaslighting, you can see that coming into this. Having someone present when you need to have discussions with your co-parent may be helpful. A good counselor can help you explore the best ways to talk about the situation with your children and may also recommend family counseling. There are great questions to ask and screen your counselors. There are many that will put parental alienation on their website that they do this, but that is their proclamation. There are a set of strategic questions that you should be asking your therapist on parental alienation or about their experience with parental alienation. Unfortunately, ones that have their name out there in some cities, they've actually expedited the erasing of one of the parents. If this is something that you're interested or need, put a note down in the comments section. Okay, it's helpful to join a support group for parents affected by parental alienation. If you can't find one locally, look at web support. If you can find people who have experienced similar situations, their advice may be helpful, and then that is part of your support. Because you know what? It's so important to be validated that you're not crazy and that this is a real thing that you are experiencing. If you look up Patreon, parental alienation, I have virtual support groups. I'll have the link below as well. Develop a plan with the help of someone in the legal field or in the mental health field to address and face the allegations that may be made against you. Do you have proof to counterclaims what you know to be lies? Again, what you're seeing here is the focus on to document everything. The bottom line is having supportive friends and family to get you through this is a challenge, and especially those who haven't been through this, when you start telling them the story, they look at you as if, well, you are crazy, because it just doesn't make sense. And there's not a lot of logic on this. It's very emotional driven. The alienator is working it from a primitive realm. The target parent also has times where when you're triggered, you're working from a primitive emotional state as well, and it just goes down the rabbit hole fast. So find others, reach out, and there's so many of us that are out there on social media. Reach out, connect, we'll help you through this. We don't want other children and other parents to be targeted and deal with what we've all had to go through. You need these people so you can process your feelings, receive good counsel, and develop a plan to move forward. Obviously, you want to take good care of yourself. Remember to love yourself through this chapter of your life. Practice forgiveness towards yourself for small mistakes you have made in the past, as a spouse, as a parent. Offer yourself compassion and understanding instead. Forgiveness is huge in this process, and you do have to forgive yourself. And it is important to also Forgive others, forgive the flying monkeys, forgive your children, forgive the alienator. And understand that forgiveness isn't about the others. Forgiveness is about you and yourself and in this journey. If your relationship was characterized by abuse, remember that you're out of it now. You are safe. Reminding yourself of your resolve to live abuse-free can be a good first step. And then remind yourself that this can extend to include any harsh self-criticism that exists within your own mind. Because chances are, while the external people, the others in your life, have told you negative things, they've kind of rewired your brain so that if they're not speaking it, perhaps you're ruminating on those thoughts as well. And it is important to honor yourself, love yourself, and to rewire yourself so you're not making those statements in lieu of someone. You are amazing. You're beautiful. You're worthy. You are so meant to be here, to be with others, and to be the parent that you should be and not be ripped off on that. You are amazing. Okay. Your physical health is also important. Try to eat nutritious foods, sleep well, exercise, be mindful of that emotional and physical linkage of your health. Have safe people in your inner circle. And look, if somebody is toxic, if somebody is playing both sides, their family, they've been your best friend since elementary school, whoever they are, this is about you. You need to take care of you. And if you have to go no contact with somebody, you have permission. It is okay. And it's important to mourn that loss, but you're woke now and you get and see what these abusive dynamics have been, and you don't deserve that dance anymore. It's a new day. If you're religious, if you're spiritual, all right, turn to leaders in your community, turn to your higher power, turn to God, and then you can feel stronger and you are not alone. Whether you're meditating, you're praying, you're reading the Bible, many find it beneficial to fill these reserves with these words, thoughts, and actions. There's using wisdom. Think back of strategies that the co-parent may have used to manipulate you in the past, and remember not to allow these same tactics to work on you now. Know your weaknesses, because here's the bottom line. Alienators, high conflict people, they know you better than you know yourself. So spend some time thinking about where those are. And while you're not going to be able to turn them into a strength, be aware that this is the jugular vein they're going to go after. Protect that and don't let that happen. Stay on point, stay on target, and don't let them go down that road. Don't compete. Do not compete with the alienator. I'm going to tell you, you'll end up losing. And more importantly, the kids are going to suffer more in the end. Okay, so keep in touch with your children. You want to give them empathy, validation, love, security, stability, strength, good role modeling, truth, presence, attunement, healthy attachment, and an abuse-free environment, because they're being abused with the alienator. Keep showing them love and kindness. And sometimes your communications, they're going to only be one way, but stay the course. Be there for your children. See, they may not immediately recognize the worth of these values, but be consistent and pervasive with them. And finally, enjoy your life. You do need to live your life.